So what exactly is the government doing to help? Earlier, I spoke to FEMA Press Secretary Jeremy Edwards. Joining us now is FEMA Press Secretary Jeremy Edwards. Jeremy, thank you so much for being with us. I know this is a very, very busy time for the agency. I first want to ask you about President Biden's visit today. There's a lot of concern that he should have gone to Honolulu to meet with the governor for a photo op there, that by going to Maui, he will disrupt the aid effort because of the Secret Service, because they have to shut down the airspace, and that it's not good for the relief effort overall. Is that a concern for you?
That's not a concern for us. We're actually very grateful that the president gave us a little time, gave us a little space to do what we needed to do on the ground at the direction and support of the county and the state. So, you know, we're about 80% done with the search and recovery mission. That means we're going to be able to transition more. There's a little more space for us, for him to be able to see the debris field, to be able to see the devastation on the ground. And we don't have any concerns there. And I know that the state and the county do not either.
It's been 12 days since the fire, Jeremy. We talk to people on the ground every day in Hawaii here on NewsNation, and so many of them still say they're not getting what they need, that they're frustrated with the federal government, they're frustrated with their state government, and we hear it over and over again. I want you to hear from one of those residents we spoke to. His name is Neo Brave. Listen to what he told us.
We lose our houses, we lose everything, we don't have nothing. And we don't have a help for the government. All you see right here, that's the community coming together all the time.
I mean, you heard Neo there, Jeremy. So many people telling us that it's the community members on the ground who are organizing to feed people and give people shelter. And they say the federal government isn't doing enough right now.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that I understand that frustration. Recoveries can take a long time. They can be frustrating. And the timeline can even be traumatizing in a way. And I also want to say thank you to those community members who are helping us, who are stepping in to fill gaps as needed. And I want to say that we are making progress. I know right now that we've put out over $8.5 million directly into the bank accounts and pockets of the people of Maui who have been impacted by this disaster. That number is going to continue to rise. We also know that shelter populations are decreasing, and that's because through partnership with the state and the American Red Cross, we're moving people out of shelters and into hotels so they can be a little more comfortable as they jumpstart their road to recovery.
FEMA has approved $5.6 million in relief for the residents in Hawaii, but I just heard the FEMA administrator saying that some of that money is in jeopardy, that it could actually run out by next month. I'm just thinking of the people on the ground in Hawaii when they hear that. When they hear that the money could be running out, I think that just makes them feel even more uncertain.
Well, 2 points of clarity really quick. As of today, we've actually put out $8.5 million. So more money is coming every single day. So if you check again this evening or we put out another press release tomorrow, you'll see that the number has continued to rise. Second, what the administrator was referring to was the disaster relief fund, which is running out of money. However, we do have the money we need right now for our immediate response and those short-term recovery efforts. So the people of Hawaii have nothing to worry about. We're going to be here for them. Now, that longer-term recovery is what she was talking about. And that is why the administration and Congress are working closely together to get FEMA the money it needs for both its short-term, medium-term, and long-term recovery through a supplemental of about $12 billion that will get us through the end of the fiscal year. And then we'll have to come back together to get more money after that. But as of right now, the people of Hawaii have nothing to worry about. We are here, we're going to be here, and we're not going anywhere until they're able to recover.
Another concern we've heard, Jeremy, from people on the ground is they say they show up to the FEMA sites looking for help, and they're asked for official documentation, you know, driver's license, things like that, and they don't have those documents. I mean, obviously, their houses have burned to the ground. They don't have what's being asked of them, and sometimes they're not getting what they need because they don't have the documents. Isn't there a way to work around that? I mean, with a fire like this, it just seems like, how can you expect people to have those docs?
Totally hear you, totally understand that frustration, and we are looking for ways to work around that. There are ways that we have folks at that center, so I want to encourage people that if they have any difficulties in applying, if they're initially deemed ineligible or anything like that, to re-engage with us, keep engaging with us. Call 1-800-621-3362 or stay at the Disaster Recovery Center. We have folks there. They're going to help them through this process. There might be some bumps along the way, but we're going to be here for them through that process.
Jeremy Edwards, Press Secretary with FEMA, we appreciate you taking the time to come on with us.
We appreciate it too, Brian. Thank you for helping us get this information out there.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.